The situation in the South China Sea has reached a climax again. The forces of the 8 countries are about to settle in the South China Sea. Little Max has taken advantage of our country's Shaanxi County, while sailing in the Western Pacific, blatantly went over the 7-nation coalition to invade the South China Sea. At this critical juncture, Third Brother and our country's diplomats, a fierce standoff. He plans to openly send troops to intervene in the South China Sea. Is this to break the relationship with China? Then this Sino-Indian diplomatic standoff, will it escalate to military conflict? Facing the menacing 8-power allied forces, how does the People's Liberation Army want to respond? And we'll go down. Facing the current dilemma in the South China Sea, China is trying its best to advise countries in Southeast Asia. It's a battle of words. Who would have thought? Those countries have been deceived by the United States and are terminally ill. Especially the Philippines, the younger brother of the United States. As long as the South China Sea storm, naturally, the shadow of the Philippines is indispensable. In the face of China's dissuasion, it is even more oblivious. Even keep wooing. Other countries confront China. According to the media, this time, the Philippines has 1 over 8 countries participate in military operations patrolling the South China Sea. This includes the United States, Australia, Japan, Canada, Vietnam, Malaysia, these Western countries. In addition, India and Singapore have also applied to join the South China Sea operation. As you can imagine, once these countries reach a consensus on the market, at that time, the situation in the South China Sea will definitely set off another bloody storm. Therefore, in the face of the threat of a number of countries in the United States and the West, our country is ready. After all, at the beginning of this year, the Philippines started shouting about the cruise operation. So, as the Philippines seeks international allies, China made this move ahead of schedule on September 15th. Chinese aircraft carrier Shaanxi, after completing his mission in the first island chain, passing through Taiwan Island, and crossed the Bashi Strait to return to the South China Sea. Not only to Western countries in the United States, showcase China's strength, it is a warning to the United States and Western countries. This is China's relationship with Western countries in the United States. First move. The United States is fanning the flames behind the Philippines. China sees it clearly. So, before the United States and the West take action, think about it first. Can you get past the Chinese tongue? Then the hardness has nothing to do with the South China Sea. Why do you want to join the voyage? Well known. French allied forces sail South China Sea. Those who really want to break up with China. It only flies to 3 countries every day. As for Australia, Canada, these countries are hindered by the power of the United States and bound by the Allies. And one of them really has nothing to do with the South China Sea. It is India's ASEAN. China and India have been at loggerheads over border issues in recent years. There was an angry conflict. The relationship between the 2 countries continues to deteriorate. After all, the friction between the 2 countries has never stopped. But it's all under control. Who would have thought that India will want to join the South China Sea voyage? Want to borrow the head of the United States to deal a blow to China? If Western countries allow India to join voyage, then China and India, the relationship will go straight to the bottom from here on. However, at this critical moment, diplomats from China and India during the G20 summit. Violent Kiao Feng. What's going on? The G20 summit is being held in India. China has also sent officials to the summit. But it was blocked by Indian security in every possible way. Indian security services insist on inspection. Check more than 20 foreign countries carried by the Chinese delegation. Deliver the parcel to know. Diplomatic parcel. It is an important way for governments to transmit documents. It contains classified government documents. In accordance with international law, no one has the right to view it. After all, it involves Chinese security, but India knows it can't. But they insist on blocking the Chinese side from checking the Chinese plane. Secret documents simply do not pay attention to China. Immediately, Chinese diplomats expressed strong opposition. The incident stalled for nearly 12 hours. Finally, these diplomatic emails were exchanged with the Chinese ambassador to India. Museum to view. Anyway, there is no way our country will let India's conspiracy succeed. Who knows that Assad is not satisfied with this result? They believe that China has installed wiretaps in diplomatic emails or interfere with equipment suspected to disrupt the summit venue. India, isn't this vexatious? And it also smears China's image as a major country for no reason. Just looking for trouble. Not afraid of becoming the laughingstock of the international community. But think about it. India wanted to join before. Joint Western Navigation Operation. At this time, it falsely claimed that China was carrying interference at the summit. Devices that prevent the summit from proceeding normally. It's not clear, it's about beauty. Voting papers submitted by Western countries. After all, India dreams of being international. Truly demonstrate the status of the so-called South Asian powers. But what India didn't expect was Modi's dream will soon be captured by the PLA. Completely shattered. Because in the eyes of the People's Liberation Army, the so-called eight-nation naval fleet in the South China Sea, just a mob. The People's Liberation Army will do whatever it takes, safeguarding national security interests. According to media reports, China's arrangement this time, it can be said to be the fastest combat readiness. China's response to this action, even the army didn't use warning. Two Coast Guard ships were dispatched, and 7 fishing boats to intercept. When the destroyer USS Jerusalem of the Brunei Navy. When I saw the Chinese fishing boats charging straight into the acting formation, immediately left the formation, turning head and sailing south. Obviously tried to avoid close contact with Chinese fishing vessels. The Thai Navy has also adopted the same strategy, leaving the formation to avoid Chinese fishing vessels. Brunei and Thailand are well aware of this. No matter in terms of firepower or tonnage, none of them can compare to Chinese fishing vessels. But they also know China confronts them with fishing boats to give them face. Totally give the other party a step up. If you are still obsessed, selection and plow hard steel, then the Chinese will not mind piloting warships, parking at your door. Obviously, Brunei and Thailand do not want to break with China. Looking inside the entire fleet has split. India and Vietnam will not dare to act rashly anymore, but still to save face. Dealed with us. And they left in disgrace. Boy, however, for the Philippines to blame. China has no intention of letting him go like this. It is reported that after the Shawnee ship returned to the south, LED-12 warships to the coast of the Philippines. This move directly places Little Max in Nan An. Because he knows very well, the Philippines' naval power cannot be compared to China's. That is to say, if one day, there is a real war between China and Africa, the People's Liberation Army even only needs to send out destroyers. You can call directly to the doorstep of the Philippines. Shawnee aircraft carrier. The reason why this time it was shocked near the Philippine Sea. It is because the Philippines is a new city in the South China Sea, an increasingly unstable country. So as long as the Philippines is given enough deterrence, make the Philippines no longer dare to claim sovereignty over China's territory. Provoke China. So no matter who the US and India support in provocation, China is bound to let it fail. The patience of nations is limited. What's more, in such a tense context, naturally, our country will not be accustomed to these arrogant people. The Chinese fleet's oppression of the Philippines is the best proof. China's strength cannot be questioned by others. If you insist on trying, see if you can handle it or not, it's over. Finally, a word of advice to the Philippines and India. Don't be flattered by America. I feel like I'm inflated. If you dare to challenge China's territorial sovereignty again, the People's Liberation Army will make you regret it without mercy. Jump into China. Okay, what do you think about that? Welcome to the comment area to leave a message for discussion. See you next time.